A conscious being is really another way of saying self-aware.
Okay.
Okay. So where I was going with that is a lot of people, and we'll stick with men because we'll stick with men. So, but a lot of men, they walk around unconsciously. I myself have times prior to me doing self-development, even sometimes now, walk around unconsciously, right? I'm just doing things because it's normal. It's the normality of going to work and putting on your clothes and brushing your teeth and doing these things, right? And so I think that if majority of us can now become more conscious being, meaning we understand what is happening around us and within us, we can make so many more better decisions. We could really go after the things that we want to aspire to do, and more importantly, once we get to a state in which we ourselves within ourselves can be like that full, I don't know, human being that we want to be and being conscious with it, imagine the help that we can provide others.
What up, Bridges? Yes? No?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. I'm still workshopping it. But welcome to another episode of the Bridging Divides podcast. We bring you new episodes every week where we talk to the amazing individuals out there who have built the bridge to success in their lives and are now bridging the divides in the world around them. Today, our guest is none other than the illustrious Michael Benton.
Yeah. Welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you for welcoming me as well.
Yeah. Not a problem.
No, super excited. Super excited to have Michael here. Michael and I met, gosh dang, actually, I think we met for the first time a couple years ago. When I joined BNI, I came to visit your chapter.
Yep.
And so I was, oh my gosh, dude, I was like deer in the headlights. Because, I mean, I was 31.
Yeah.
And I'd been working in sales and customer service, but like networking on that scale had not been something that I had done before. Going into a room of people that like represent a bunch of different industries and be like, okay, how can we all help each other was a totally foreign concept to me.
Yeah, it was the same for me. And but I think one of the reasons we hit it off is we just had so much in common, even behind the scenes of business and trying to network and stuff. So I'm glad we met.
Yeah, me too, brother.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to kind of go through here, so you just want to kind of go over there's a lot of things that we go over in these episodes. We talk about business, we talk about success principles, and we give the advice, tools, and resources, we like to say, to be able to build that bridge to success, right? But we also try to get real, you know, like we don't shy away from anything like that. And so, I mean, you and I have had some really like in-depth conversations, which again is part of what I love about our friendship dynamic and everything. And so I'm excited to just dive in and just kind of get rolling. Some of his accomplishments. So he's, other than being my friend, which you're welcome.
Yes.
That's quite an achievement. A lot of work goes in. I'm just kidding. I'm not high maintenance. Let's see. Served 4 years in the United States Navy, which I was also in the Navy, so check.
Yes.
You got something right there. Bachelor's degree in marketing management, which is awesome. Marketing is one of those things I nerd out about a lot. Certified life coach through Robbins Madanes coaching program, which that's the Tony Robbins program, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, fantastic. And then becoming a father, which, I mean, I guess becoming a father is the easy part. Being a father is the hard part.
Yes, totally different. But I think just for me, like I said, it was just a blessing to even be able to reproduce. Right, is one thing.
Yeah. Check.
That's a hard feat. So yeah.
No, but on jokes aside, I think becoming is such a. Becoming is a process.
Yes.
Right. And so becoming a father is a lot more than you just procreating.
Yes, for sure.
You know, and you boy, it's a boy, right?
Yep. So I have a boy and a girl. So my son is just turned 10, and then my daughter is 18.
Oh, great. Okay, cool. Yeah, and that's nice. You have one of each.
Yeah.
So I had 3 boys before we had a girl. And then my wife's like, I think I want another girl. And I'm like, look, if you want to have like 10 kids, then that's fine. But apparently like my family just doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I have 3 biological brothers and 1 biological sister. I have 2 adopted sisters, but anyway, we imported them so that we could have a bigger spread.
Okay.
But all my 3 brothers, it's boys. Like, and so I'm just like, and now we have 5 boys and 1 girl, and I'm just like, she says she wants to try for another one, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have 10 boys running around my house.
Watch what you ask for.
I know, dude. It's like, well, you saw my house coming in.
Yeah.
I'm in boxes on there's like paint on the floor, you know, and then the paint's just staying there. That's just part of the decor now. But no, but that's awesome, dude. And I love that you see that as an accomplishment. I mean, that is one of the, it is one of the most infuriating. It's one of the most infuriating, but one of the most rewarding.
It's definitely
things.
a blessing, man. I mean, like I said, before even having kids, before even being married at the time, you know, it was just, you focus on yourself, right? It's just, what am I doing? What am I going to go get? How's life going to be for me? And then as obviously time evolves and things change, and you're like, you know what? I would like to have a little mini me running around so I can teach him the things that I don't know or haven't, you know, wasn't taught when I was older or younger. And so it's a blessing in a disguise, right? And
Absolutely.
so I love every moment of it. It's super hard. It sucks sometimes. My daughter, she's my stepdaughter. That's why there's a huge age gap.
Oh,
and so,
gotcha. Okay.
You know, when I going into my marriage at the time, I wanted 3 kids of my own plus my daughter.
I gotcha.
I have my son. I was like, no, I'm
Yeah,
good. I got
that's
one.
cool.
I got one of each.
One's fine.
I'm good. Cut it off. Let's go.
Yeah, we're good.
So,
We're good.
yeah.
No, that's funny. Yeah, no, it's definitely crazy. Having a lot of kids is crazy. So it's fun, but there are side effects. Just if you want to have a clean house, then
Yeah.
not the course you probably want to go down.
Kudos to you and your wife.
Hey, yeah, you know, I try. So a question we like to ask is, what is something that either no one or very few people know about you?
Okay, so on the surface, I'm very masculine. I'm a very masculine man, right? I'm usually in my masculine energy. But I have become more emotional, especially when it comes to like sad scenes in movies, or just like when someone's giving like a very like inspiring, motivational type of like speech of what they overcame or how someone helped them. Dude, takes me on every time. Takes me on. It does.
You're like, oh, there I go.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's coming. You know, so it's I don't know, it's a beautiful thing, but I don't normally, people don't, the reason why I say it's something that no one knows about me, because it's a side that I don't necessarily show a lot, or people see. That's why.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. No, my wife always makes fun of me.
Yeah.
Because in a loving way,
Yeah.
because I am definitely more emotional than she is when it comes to movies and just, you know, like you said, inspirational stories and everything. I'm a wreck, and I don't mean like I tear up. I mean like I'm a wreck.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I haven't progressed to that level yet, but
oh, dude,
there's time.
Iron Man when he died.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In Endgame.
Yeah.
Sorry if that's a spoiler. It's been out for a long time. That one's on you.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
she's like we were at the theater and she's laughing at me so hard because I'm like like these like racking sobs I'm trying to like stifle and whatever, and it's like I'm failing miserably at it.
Yeah. My most recent little cry, I guess, or emotional outburst, I've actually listened to a podcast. So there's a podcast called The Life Coach. And I forgot the woman's name, but it's called the Life Coaching School podcast.
Oh, cool.
And one of her clients had like voicemailed in and explained to her that she was on the brink of like committing suicide and doing all these things. And she explained this story like, your videos helped me out so much. And the way she was like, it was just like, oh my God. Dude, it was just crazy. But so it was like the evolution of like a random stranger hearing some random person's voice and their message and then resonating with that, and then just like that being like the trigger, like to turn themselves around and like to go from wanting to take your life to now thriving is like amazing. So yeah, that was my last little tears right there.
No, dude, and honestly, I mean, that's, you touch on so many points that are like super huge passionate topics for me, but like it's such a beautiful thing in and of itself when people come together that normally have no connection. I mean, yes, I talk about business and all this other stuff, and I talk to business owners, nonprofit founders, all that other stuff to see how they've been successful. But one of the overarching missions of Bridging Divides is to bring people together. That's why I love networking. And I'm not talking about like, who do I know that can get me what I want?
Yeah.
But like people that truly, genuinely have your best interest at heart.
Yes.
right? Like that's what I'm talking about as far as like, a network, right? But like when you can bring people together from different backgrounds, different experiences, and connect on that deeper level, it's amazing. I mean, and that's one of the things that I think, like, if we want to like overcome the issues that we have in society, then we need to learn to go deeper than just the surface level. If we want to fix issues that are deep-seated issues, we need to open up and share more than just surface level stuff.
Sure. And I think a lot of that too stems from the individual themselves, right? Like a lot of us have work that needs to be done within our own selves, and so it's our perspective and our projections that we're putting onto others, right? That are dividing that bridge that we're trying to bring together. And so you're right. Like if we can just all come together and kind of see the overall goal of what it is that we're all wanting to achieve. Like that's why I don't understand like politics. I'm not a huge fan of politics, and sorry if I'm getting into politics, but the two sides or whatever, how many sides there are, is just like, why just help the people? Just help the people.
Let's just have a conversation.
Can we just
figure out an issue?
For sure. So
no, and not like politics, but politics in general, in work, in school, in society, in whatever. Like that, I feel like it can hinder actual meaningful progress instead of coming together on an issue.
Yeah. Well, I think that the work that you're doing is the kind of the foundation for that, right? It's people like you that are trying to bring those individuals or those companies or whatever it is, those differences together to create that unity. And so I think it's a beautiful thing. And so we just need more masterminds like you to bring more people together.
Masterminds, you're awesome, dude. No, that's a huge compliment. I appreciate that, brother. So jumping in here, so we want to know about what divide you're bridging.
Ooh, sounds very secretive.
I know.
I might have to pay for this
fancy schmancy stuff here.
Yeah.
No, but ultimately, I mean, that's why we want to have you on. And some of the things that have impressed me about you are your openness, your vulnerability, your desire to help other people, all those other things. And you fit the mold of the bridge strategy, I call it. That's the book that I'm writing. I don't know if I told you that.
You did tell me that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I tend to overshare rather than keep.
Yeah. You said you were like 10,000 words in or something.
15,000 words in. I know. I'm shooting for like 50, 60.
Okay.
So it'll be like a decent sized book, a few hundred pages. But
this is crazy because I think the last time that we met, we were at Jersey Mike's and you were talking about writing a book. I don't think you actually started it.
Yeah, we were.
And I was like, I would say that time frame was probably a month and a half, maybe something like that.
It was a few months ago, yeah.
That's crazy that you went that far,
dude.
In that short amount of time.
It's interesting too, and I feel good about it because I'm like, oh man, like, and we'll get into this in a bit about like limiting beliefs, right?
Yeah.
It's like I would think like, I'm not the guy that would write a book, know, or like I'm not that kind of guy. I don't know that much, or people wouldn't want to hear what I have, to say. Yeah. But it's like finding those moments in your day to develop a habit of writing is kind of how it worked for me. Like in Atomic Habits, you ever read that book by James Clear? No. Oh, dude, super good. Highly recommend it. But he talks about habit stacking, where you basically take a habit that you normally do and then just put whatever you want to improve like on the end of that. So attach it to something that you're already, habitually doing. And then that can develop that habit until it's its own thing, So for me, I like to do what's called lazy habit stacking.
Okay.
Where I take something lazy that I do and then just put something productive with it.
Okay.
So I'll be playing video games, literally, I'm playing like Pokemon or whatever on the Switch. And I'll be listening to like a self-development book. And then I'll just like pause and take notes for my book.
Okay.
And I've been there was one day I wrote almost 3,000 words in a single day just because of doing that,
Nice.
And so, but yeah, no, so it's a huge accomplishment. I feel super good about it. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, again, this is about you mostly. So,
no, this is about us.
This is about
this is about the unity.
Hey, there you go. I love it. I like that. Okay. Way to bring it back.
Yeah.
But tell me about what you do. I mean, so you talked about several things in when you answered the questions that I had sent. I mean, your mission, inspire people, live beyond average, and you focus primarily on men.
Yes.
Because men tend to put other people's needs before their own. It's like the provider,
Yeah.
we go out there, we get crap done kind of a mentality. But that can lead us to neglecting our own needs,
Desires, wants. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the bridge that I'm kind of bringing together, right? Or is just focusing on men. And I'm using this from my own experiences, my own perspective and things of that nature, because when working with men, what I find is that obviously it's more like the hunter gatherer type of like mentality, right? Where it's like, I'm the man. I gotta provide all the financial means. I gotta make sure everyone is good and straight. And then if there's enough time left over, and if I'm even cognizant enough to know, I need to now focus on what it is I want. And a lot of men don't do that. And so I'm just trying to help men, including myself, become better people. Whether it's in their households, whether it's in the community, right? And just take ownership of the life that they have and stop living the life of the average and normal and just existing. That is so like boring to me, and for me it's a waste of life. I think that we have so much opportunity in the world and with ourselves that we should there's no reason as to why we shouldn't be fulfilling our dreams and going after the things that we want. And it doesn't have to all be materialistic, and just becoming the person that we want to be. And so I'm a huge proponent, a big passionate person about helping men just better themselves, and which in return help them become better fathers, better husbands, better men in societies, better leaders, all of that. So,
100%. 100%. No, I love that. That's a huge passion project of my own. I was lucky enough to have this amazing dad, and we're talking like, you talk about like stereotypical man, in sports. He's just huge, barrel-chested guy. Hardworking. Just in the thick of it. He builds stuff. He built half our freaking house. He was always remodeling something.
Yeah.
And outside working all the time. That was very much my dad. But on the flip side, he was the most tender-hearted, sensitive person that I've ever met, who was not afraid to cry. And honestly, that confidence, you talk about manliness.
Yeah.
Like having that kind of confidence, just be like, look, dude, like this is me. This is who I am. Like, kind of deal with it. And it's like, just try to challenge me on it, kind of a thing.
For sure.
But you talk about like inspirational stories. Every Christmas we would read, every single day of December we would read a new Christmas story.
Okay.
Which I loved. It was fantastic. But he couldn't even finish one, because he would start crying so much to where he literally could not speak.
Nice.
And so one of us would like read the rest of it.
Yeah.
But what was funny is that what started to happen is that we couldn't get through it. And so like it just trickled down. So like all
just
me
taking
and,
turns?
Yeah, me and my three brothers we're just, we're super, kind of open and with our emotions and different things like that, which that's part of what I love about myself. And it's funny because I used to not be so much that way. And I think that we all, really people in general, but there are so many things that we view as weaknesses, quote unquote, but they're actually like the most valuable, amazing pieces of who we are individually.
Well, I think part of that, a lot of that is to blame for, right? We have social norms, right? We have traditionalism that puts things in place as a man should never show emotion, a man should never show affection, all this other stuff, right? And so, so when you get individuals, whether they're men or women, and you get individuals that see the value and the kind of the benefit of being emotional, right? And being able to, a big thing is being able to transition between your masculine and your feminine energy, right? So you don't have to, you don't have to stay within your feminine, right? But I commend men that can, that can be their masculine energy, and the next, they can be sweet and they can be tender and they can be, loving to their spouse or their kids or whatever. Like that's a man, you know what I mean? And so, going back to what you were talking about your dad, my dad was the opposite, where my dad's a military man as well. But long story short, my dad was adopted 1965. Father was black in the Army. Mother was white, married to a white male. They had a little entanglement. This is in the South, mind you. And so mother gave up the rights to the kid. The nurse that brought my dad into the world, that's my grandma. That's what she adopted my dad. So that's why I know as my grandma. I've never met anyone on my dad's side ever.
Dang.
Yeah. So I say all that to say this. He didn't have any role models to how do you take care of a son? How do you become a man? It was his uncles that he was raised around, and then my grandma that raised him. So hard man, didn't show any affection for the most part, and loving guy. We have a great relationship. There's no animosity, anything like that.
Oh,
It's just
good.
This is just his upbringing, right?
Yeah,
This is just who he was. And so yeah, it's just everyone has different experiences, man. And I think what makes a person unique and kind of have their own story is when they can kind of see what their perspective is outside of their own perspective, and like, okay, this is why I do this. This is why I act like this. And then
Love that.
make that decision to say, okay, do I want to continue this on and teach my son or my kids this, or do I want to do something different?
Yeah, 100%. I think I firmly believe, like, the way I like to put it is, we're all made from broken pieces, right? Mm-hmm. The stuff that was passed down, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But our object as parents of raising the next generation is to put as many of those pieces together as we can, and pass those on instead. We're still going to screw up. We still we still have our own broken pieces that we're going to pass on. But as long as we are cognizant of that, and accept it for what it is, then I think that's the way to move forward. It's okay to say sorry to your kids, despite what some people might say. It's okay to recognize your faults and let them know, be like, hey, hey, I screwed up. I'm sorry. This is something that I'm working on. My boy, actually, he was maybe 6. I lost my temper with him. And later on, when I'd cooled down, I was like, hey, buddy, I'm sorry. I lost my temper. And he just goes, well, that's something you need to work on, I guess. And I was like,
Touche.
Yeah. Yep, you are correct. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, future therapist there, but I think that's great. Is that what so in your responses to the questions, you had talked about being a conscious being.
Yeah.
Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah. So this is a new kind of concept that I came across, and I've just been really kind of diving into it. But a conscious being is really another way of saying self-aware. Okay. So where I was going with that is a lot of people, and we'll stick with men because we'll stick with men. So, but a lot of men, they walk around unconsciously. I myself have times prior to me doing self-development, even sometimes now, walk around unconsciously, right? I'm just doing things because it's normal. It's the normality of going to work and putting on your clothes and brushing your teeth and doing these things, right? And so I think that if majority of us can now become more conscious being, meaning we understand what is happening around us and within us, we can make so many more better decisions. We could really go after the things that we want to aspire to do, and more importantly, once we get to a state in which we ourselves within ourselves can be like that full, I don't know, human being that we want to be, and being conscious with it, imagine the help that we can provide others. That's where it begins, right? When we can start helping others become
unlock.
Yeah, when we can unlock other people, and then it's just like, it's so much untapped potential within people, and the potential that we have inside lays dormant because, again, it's normality. That's what we do. It's what we're known to do.
Hey guys, just want to take a quick break and say, if you guys are getting any value from this, if you guys are enjoying it, having a good time with us today, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Everybody says that, I know, but hey, can't beat them, join it. Just want to let you guys also know about our newsletter that we have coming out. It'll let you know about all the latest and greatest news that we've got, anything Bridging Divides related, all the events that we've got coming up, all of the different organizations, nonprofits out there that are doing awesome, amazing things that you can also be a part of. It'll also let you know about the book that I've got coming out, The Bridge Strategy. Super, super excited about that. And we'll let you know when that gets released. We'll also let you know about any additional nuggets of information and inspiration that we've got, different fun stories that we don't necessarily mention in these videos or episodes. So if that's something that interests you, then check it out in the description and we'll make you part of the Bridging Divides family. Excited to have you here. We'll get back into it.
I believe that we are divine beings having a mortal experience.
Okay,
I mean, that's how I view life. And so I believe that we all have divine characteristics. So like the creator that made us, we we inherit some of those characteristics.
Yeah.
And I think that because we go through and we slog through the mud of this life and what it is, all of that gets covered, and it's hard. And we stop believing ourselves that we have that potential for greatness, really an infinite potential that we have. But we have negative self-talk, and we have limiting beliefs, and we have, we listen to those negative voices, whether they're our own or they're other people's, And so I firmly believe that as we, like you're saying, as we're conscious of who we are and what our potential is, and we go, okay, this is what I'm going through, this is how I can react, this is how I can change, that is where that unlock is, and where we can rise to that potential that,
I mean,
we're not living before.
imagine the bridges, right, that are divided. Imagine what we can bring together if we all were conscious beings, right? We were all self-aware
100%.
of other people's feelings and things of that nature. It's just, I don't know. There's so much to untap there, and there's so much to unlock that who knows where society or even evolution would go if we were all like just thinking like on crazy levels, right?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. If we're all up here instead of just having the outlier, be kind of up there, kind of away from the group. No, I love that, and I'm sincerely looking forward to that day.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think that it starts with us, right? So being able to be willing to be the loser, be willing to be the outcast.
Yeah.
I think that that's where that starts. I heard somebody say, and I've said this before, but I've heard people say it's lonely at the top, and I'm just like, it doesn't have to be lonely at the top.
Yeah.
If you bring everybody else with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that.
If they're willing to come.
That is where that starts. You have to have that willingness.
Right? I can't, we can't force people to change. We can't force people to see a different perspective or what we see of them and their unlocked potential. Unfortunately, you have to go through the fire as well. And I had to do that, right? I had to walk through the fire and be kicked in the face and, get back up. And it's just, that's what makes you stronger. So, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I love it. So that, honestly, there's a lot of stuff that we have talked about already that I just absolutely love. And I want to go through some of the other questions that I've got for you.
Yeah.
That really related a lot to what you were saying, but just to kind of put it into the bridge strategy form, we talk about how the first building block in the bridge strategy is blueprint. About limiting beliefs, about what is it mentally that's keeping you from getting to the goal? What is the goal? Do you have a goal? Do you know where it is that you're going? Do you have the plans literally in front of you? So the first question related to that I want to ask you is, how have you viewed success and how to get there through your journey?
Initially, I have viewed success as having materialistic things, right? So having the money, having the cars, having the house, having the beautiful woman, right? And then I later started to understand that, for me anyway, it wasn't about the materialistic things. It wasn't about the money, right? For me, it was about living life through the experiences of feelings and emotions with those that I loved. That's how I value or view success. And so the way that I see that now has really changed my perspective, because if you look at it, I'm already successful, right? I'm just walking this line. I'm just on this journey. I'm just continuing to build upon my success that I've already built for myself. So if you're on that same token, I mean, you can obviously still want things, right? And I still aspired to have materialistic things, but it's not what defines success to me.
It's not the driving force.
Not at all. Not at all. And so, so I'm thinking in that term, I just follow that path, and it's just trying to live through that experience. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And I like that you said to build off of the success that you already have, because I think that that's something that can be really hard to remember is just because we have a goal and we view something that we want doesn't mean that we haven't already gotten success. And I think that that's why gratitude is such an important part of our lives. Yeah. And we actually, the last building block, which I'll get to, is reinforce and review, which is all about looking back and going, okay, what worked, what didn't work. And I think that it is vital to our continued success to look back and say, where have I succeeded? It helps with the motivation. It helps to say, okay, well, this worked and this didn't. Yeah. You know, and so I love that you said that, to build on the success that you already have.
I'll be honest with you, that was one of the hardest things to do. It was to be able to sit back and recognize, okay, I did accomplish this. I did go to the military. I did get a bachelor's degree. Like, heck yeah. First in my family to do all that stuff. Like,
it's a big deal, man.
Yeah, but in the moment, it's like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, it's okay. Like, you know, I'm supposed to go to school. Yeah. Why? Because this is what I want. I was always a big proponent of looking at the end result. What is doing this going to get me? And I never looked at, man, you know, I am super confident. I am super successful because even the smallest things, right? I did this, I did that. And so I think that for anyone that is on any type of journey, development, whatever it is that you're looking to do, I think it's, like you said, it's imperative that you understand that you're worthy. Like you're here, you're valuable. And the things that you've done, you just need to reflect on, even if it's just the small stuff, you know what I mean? Just reflect on what you've done. And that, like you said, will build the motivation. It will build the inspiration. It will continue to push you, which is why having a reason as to why you do something is very, very important to any endeavor that you're trying to go after.
Love that. No, that's beautiful. So what limiting beliefs have you had that have kept you from succeeding? I know we kind of touched a little bit, but I want to, hear like what has been something for you personally that has kept you from succeeding.
Okay. So yeah, I would say not thinking that I'm good enough. I would always compare myself to, okay, so I'm in the coaching space, right? And so we have coaches like Tony Robbins, you have Jay Shetty, you have Mel Robbins, you have all these big time people, right? These
way up there.
Yeah, they're
stratospheric.
Way up there. Right. And they have these amazing messages that they come out with. And I'm always looking at their pages on Instagram and I'm like, okay, well, they already said that. No one's going to want to hear my half of what I have to say on that. So why am I even going to put it out? And, I had multiple conversations with just close friends that really do believe in me and that they were telling me like, man, like, yeah, they've said the same messages. Most of everything that we hear in life has all been regurgitated. It's just in different forms. Right? Yeah. It's just in different experiences. And so that was one of the things I had to get over was like, listen, man, I am valuable. Like I do have worth, and the things that my experiences are not the same as Jay Shetty's or any of these other people that are in the same space or whatever it is that you do. So that was one of the things that I had to really just kind of sit back and really think like, man, like, okay, why do I feel like I'm not good enough? Why do I feel like people don't want to hear my side of the story? And so once I kind of started working on that and really just kind of slowly putting out content, regardless of who had already put it out there. Yeah. And then I started seeing, and this is a kind of not a reassurance, but you start getting people like, oh man, thank you for sharing that. That was beautiful. And it's just like, oh, okay. So people do like to hear what I have to say. And so not that I was relying on the feedback, but it was just kind of a reassurance that, man, you do have a voice and you need to let people hear it.
I love that. And if you want to get to Tony Robbins level, I mean, I would love to get there, speaking on stage and just, I mean, he packs, I mean, he speaks to tens of thousands of people at the same time. But if you want to get to that level of stratospheric success, you have to start, right? You don't have to be, you don't have to be great to start, but you need to start to be great. Something I like to say is that excellence is not about showing off. It's about showing up over and over and over again. Yeah. That is how you're going to get to that Tony Robbins level, that stratospheric level. You can't get there any other way.
I read a book I think it was a couple months ago, and one of the lines in there, I have affirmations on my window, on my bathroom window. And one of the things
that you do that.
One of the quotes that it said was, find courage first and then confidence will come. And I was like, wait, what? Because I think a lot of people don't take that first step is because They think they have to have the confidence. Well, if you think about it, if you work it backwards, in order to have confidence in something, that means you must have done it over and over and over again. Well, if you're starting something new, like changing your life or a new career or whatever it is, you're not going to have the confidence. And that's to your point of just getting started. Have the courage enough to even just get started. You're not going to get it right. You're probably going to make a ton of mistakes. But have the courage to get started, and then that confidence will come, and then you're going to start to see that level of success that you want to see. But it's just about having the courage.
No, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love that. So honestly, that's a perfect segue into the next building block, which is lay the first brick. Bridges are built from two sides. I firmly believe that we need other people in order to succeed. If it's in a relationship, obviously with another person. If it's, if it's in a business, you have to have either a partner, or you have to have a customer, you have to have whatever, but you have to lay the first brick.
Yes.
You have to take initiative. And you just said, you have to have the courage to start in order to then build the confidence to then bridge whatever divide it is.
Yeah.
If it's where you want to get to you want to get to a higher level, you want, to develop yourself better, you gotta lay that first brick.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might be a little teeny tiny brick.
That's why momentum is so important.
But momentum.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Exactly. So the question here is, how has taking initiative helped you in your journey with what you've done in your life, and how have you taken initiative?
I've taken initiative by just getting started, as I mentioned before. I've always wanted to start a podcast. I started a podcast.
Love it.
I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel. I started a YouTube channel. Did I know what I was doing? No. Did I know any of the tech stuff? No. Did I know what I was going to say? No. Did I know how to organize? I didn't know any of it. What I did know was what I wanted. And what I wanted was deep enough within me that I was going to go do it regardless of whatever the outcome was, right? So if I failed, cool. For me, failing is success. It's you fail your way to success. And so it was just laying that first brick, as you say. It was just starting it. And then from there, like I said, the confidence comes, and then you start to evolve, right? And then you start to learn new things. And then I'm a big believer in spirituality. And so the energy that we put out there is the energy that we get back.
100%.
And so when I'm putting out energy the way that I kind of want to, the universe is going to give me that back. And so then it starts to create new opportunities, and then it starts to create new relationships. And then now you're just kind of it's like a force field of just positive energy, and it's just swirling around you everywhere you go. And so people can sense that. And so I would say for me, like I said, it was just laying that first brick. It was just getting started with whatever it is I was trying to get done. And then from there it was just brick after brick, brick after brick. And then that creates more of opportunities and more success.
I love it, dude. I love that. Now, the third building block is lean into who you are. So lean in is the title. Lean into your strengths. Lean into your authenticity, who you are. So what we want to know is, what unique strengths have helped you succeed?
For me, I would say one of the best strengths, I guess, that kind of propelled me to where I was going with is communication. I've always been told that I've been a good communicator. I've always kind of known that. I can have a conversation with literally anyone. In the military, you're surrounded by people that from different origins, nationalities,
religions,
everything. Right? It's like a melting pot of just people. And so being able to have those types of conversation and just kind of relate to people. So communication has helped me tremendously, because it's not only in areas in which I thought that I was lacking or that I knew too little, because of communication, because of my willingness to reach out, I was able to get that information that I needed. I was able to understand what it is I was missing or needing to do. And so communication by far is my biggest strength that I contribute my early on success to.
Love that.
Yeah.
The key to contentment is constant communication.
Did you write that?
Smart, right?
Did you write that?
I said a smart thing. I said a smart thing.
Nice.
It only sounds smart because it has alliteration in it.
Okay.
That's all you got to do. It doesn't really even need to be smart. As long as it's got alliteration, people are like, ooh.
Yeah.
No, but 100% though. I honestly believe that if we want to be happy with where we are, if it's a relationship, if it's in a work, if it's in a job, if it's in business or whatever it is, you have to communicate. You have to communicate how you're feeling. You have to communicate what you want. You have to communicate, what the vision is for whatever you're in.
Yeah.
You know, and
Man, I this is probably just a side note, but it does go along the lines of what we're talking about, communication. So recently divorced, that communication, I didn't understand it at the time.
oof.
Didn't understand it,
Oof.
right? And so it's like, yeah, you communication in any aspect, whether it's relationships with your spouse or if it's your kids or if it's even in business, man, you have to be able to communicate not only your wants and your needs, but like really fully listen. Like, what is this person telling me? What are they trying to relay to me? Am I understanding it?
Yeah.
Am I not understanding? Okay, let me relay what you just said back to me, just to make sure that I can get it. So
Yep.
communication is super huge. But again, for me, it's allowed me to push myself beyond my limits because of my willingness to get out there and ask the questions.
Love that. Gotta ask.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a no if you don't ask. I love
Yeah.
that. So how has being authentic helped you be uniquely successful?
I love being authentic. I love authenticity because it allows me to just be me. And I don't have to put on any facade. I don't have to put on any type of show. I don't have to dance on tables like a monkey. Like, I don't have to do that. I can be who I am. And the beautiful thing about it is when I put myself out there, it allows me to see who's with me and who's not with me. And if you're not with me, totally fine. That's totally cool. We have different paths. But if you are with me, I can now pour my energy into that person or those people because I see that they're for me and I'm for them. And so
Love it.
being authentic, man, I just love it. I love like our relationship. Yeah. Right off the bat, we were like, "Hey, this is what we're into," and I'm like, "Damn, I feel that. Like that's me too."
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
it was just kind of like this energy, this aura thing, right? But that was from you and myself being who we are, being authentic, and not trying to put on this facade that I'm making X amount of money and I drive this and I got this and this is where I'm headed. Like, no, dude, I got 500 followers on my YouTube channel. I got 60 followers on Instagram. Like, dude, this is where I'm at, but I'm on my way. You know what I mean? So it's just that's just dude. I love people who are authentic because again, it just creates like a really altruistic, like, I don't know, connection.
Yeah, one of the things I've heard said, I like we talked about the Think Media podcast.
Yeah.
Sean Cannell. Sean, you are on my list of people to eventually interview, so just expect that. Nice. I hope whether he sees this or not.
He might not see that. Yeah.
we'll see. Yeah. I'll keep saying it. There you go. You know, and we'll
keep tagging him.
But he says that your vibe will attract your tribe. Which I love that, you know, not just because it rhymes, but it's such a beautiful point to it, you know, of you put yourself out there, you know, your energy, whatever you talk about, and that will attract, you know, what aligns with that, you know. I had a friend of mine, you know, I was telling, oh yeah, go ahead and do it. And she's like, oh, I don't want to do it because I'm afraid that people will judge me. I said, good.
Yeah.
It's good to have people judge you.
Yeah.
Because if people judge you, you now know who to cut out of your life. Mm-hmm. You don't need that.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to judge you anyway.
They're going to judge you anyway. So just put it out there.
Yeah.
You know, why be afraid to be yourself?
Yeah.
You know, half the people that see what you do don't care.
Yes.
You know,
facts.
And half of those people that do care, you know, they don't matter, man. So just be yourself.
Yeah.
You know, if you really want to get to who your tribe is, who you love to be around, who builds you up, you have to get out there and be willing to be judged. But it does take courage, like you're saying.
Well, yeah.
You know,
I mean, not a lot of people want to get out of their normal life, right? Like their own skin, and so it's all in your mind, right? Because then it's like self-judgment and just all of these things. But David Goggins, super amazing person, by the way. But he said, you have to get comfortable with being misunderstood. And I was like, yeah. He's like, you're going to make it to the top and people aren't going to understand. Why are you not going out to the clubs? Why are you not hanging out with me on Fridays? Why are you not doing this and that? You know, instead you're in your house and you're writing your book, right? Or you're doing these things to get to where you want to go. And people are not going to understand that. And that's perfect. You don't want them to. Not everyone is going to see your vision.
Yep.
Not everyone's supposed to see your vision. That's why Will Smith was like, he said something about keep your circles small. Something about keeping your circle small, because if you tell everyone your big ideas, right, they're not going to understand it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you just got to show them. ultimately. You know, no one's going to see it like you see it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, yeah, people help you get there.
Yeah.
You know, but you just got to do, you know.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of staying quiet.
Yeah.
My family, they point this out to me because they're
People
like,
probably wish I would also adopt that, but
yeah, like my family, they point this out to me because they're like, oh, you don't ever call us or hang, or, you know, and the next thing I know, I show up and I got a podcast and I got this going on. And I'm just like, I don't need to project or tell everyone, hey, I'm doing this. You know what I mean? Until it's ready to be put out there, because that's just not who I am. You know what I mean? I'd rather show you. I'm about that action, right? I'm that guy. So I'm going to show you instead of telling you, because I think obviously actions speak louder than words, right?
Heck yeah, dude. There's way more inspiration in seeing somebody actually walk the walk, instead of just have a big talk.
For
you
sure.
know what I mean?
For sure.
So next building block is complete their bridge, is what we call it. So instead of walking around life with half a bridge looking for somebody that can give you what you need, how can you be walking around looking for people that you can give them what they need, right? So it's all about listening authentically, genuinely communicating to find out what it is that they actually need, what it is that they're looking for, and then giving it to them.
Yeah.
Because bridges go both ways. As soon as the bridge is built, it comes back.
Yeah.
And you end up getting what you need. If it's a sale, then you find out what somebody needs, why they really want or need whatever it is, and then you can then help them. You know, when you genuinely listen to somebody, then give them what they need, they walk away feeling taken care of instead of feeling taken advantage of.
For sure.
You know? And so how has the principle of focusing on what somebody else needs helped made you successful, and what unexpected benefits have you received because of it?
Giving is a huge part of my value system. I'm a huge giver, just by just being a natural giver. I love to see people excited. I love to see people happy. I love to see people smile. My son, when I give it, and not even just like toys and stuff, but just giving him my time.
Yeah.
And wrestling, he loves to wrestle. We wrestle all the time. And just to see him smile, and it's just, it lights me up. And so, and I take that into any area of my life, right? Whether it's business or personal. And so being someone that is giving back, that's what lights me up. And so that's why I always find it like being of service. Everything I've ever done, I've always been in service. Military, customer service, sales, advising, whatever. It's always been in service of others. What do you need? How can I help? How can I make your life better? How can I make your choices that you have to make better? And it's had, I don't know, I can't even know if I can quantify the benefits that it's given me back, because man, I don't know. It's just a beautiful thing. You know, what I've gotten in return from being someone who is about people and giving back is just kind of that inspiration that I need to continue on my path, because there's more people out there that need help. There's more people out there that need an ear to listen to, right? Or someone to listen to. And so giving is everything for me. And I don't see myself ever stopping that type of sentiment ever.
Awesome. Awesome. No, 100%. You know, it's when you live that way, you know, that's just a more fulfilling way to live.
Yeah.
You know, it's and there's so much that comes from living that way, instead of being transactional in your relationships, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, just like, this is what I need.
Yeah.
You know, give me what I need, and then I'm gone.
Well, I've seen, I mean, I'm sure we've all had the same experiences, but I've seen situations in which someone has been taken advantage of, or someone is just, it's just all about me. And if you've ever been on the other side of that, where you've been taken advantage of, or your energy, that shit is so draining. Oh my, it's like, you know, because someone who is like naturally just a giver, right? You get to a point where you don't even recognize that you're giving too much. Right? You don't even recognize how much you're giving up of yourself, of your time, of your energy, whatever. And so I've seen the other side. I've seen where someone has given their all to someone, and they just took it and threw it away, and it left that person so empty. And this is, you know, I've seen this from family members, and I'm so grateful for my family members. This is not a knock to any of them, but it was a really life learning lesson to see both sides of what good looks like and what it doesn't look like.
Yeah.
and making a decision. Okay, I don't. Thank you for showing me that, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to go over here because both sides win when we come together and we can give, and I can help you out and you can help me out.
100%. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So last building block, reinforce and review, which we touched on a little bit. Looking back, what should you do again? What shouldn't you do? You know, what mistakes have you made? And really knowing that mistakes are a good thing, you know? So what have been some of your, we'll call them learning opportunities instead of mistakes. What have been some of your learning opportunities throughout your road to success, and how can we all learn from them?
I would say, I'll start off with grace, would be the first one. There have been numerous of instances in which I was hard on myself because I failed. I was hard on myself because things didn't go right the way that I projected them, that I wanted them to go right. I hired my own life coach because I knew there was a lot of work that I needed to do on myself. And so in that coaching, in that teaching, in that learning, you know, she taught me that, hey, you need to be graceful, right? Like you've done all these amazing things, but you're human and you're going to make mistakes, and it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Right. There's a saying that in coaching that pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. And that resonated with me so much because it's like I'm choosing to feel these emotions of not enough, lack, self-doubt, all of these things. And so for me, it was just learning that, okay, I'm just a human. I'm only one person. I got to give myself grace when things don't go the way that I think they should.
Yeah.
Another one too is failure, looking at failure as a success, right? Again, we get bogged down in our own minds when things don't go right, or, you know, and when things fail, we tell ourselves, oh, I wasn't meant for that. I wasn't supposed to have that because I failed. No.
That's dangerous.
That's very dangerous. No, you were meant for that. You just need to look at it from a different perspective, right? You were meant for that. It's just going to take you longer, bro. It's just going to take you a couple more tries, right? A couple more opportunities for you to get to where you need to be. And so I would say look at failure as a learning opportunity. What went wrong with whatever it is that you were trying to go after? Did you miss a step? Did you miss some information?
Yeah.
Did you need some more guidance in a certain area? What was it? And then go back and recalibrate. Try it again, right? So I would say those are a couple of the major things that I learned and still learning along the way, that is helping me become the person that I want to be, and really, I don't know, kind of extend that help to others as well.
Absolutely love that. Oh man. Yeah, we gotta cut ourselves some slack, man.
Yeah.
You know, we get so bogged down, like you said. So we're approaching the end of our time here. So just to kind of wrap up, we talked about some good books, you know, and authors. What you mentioned a couple books in these questions that I really, really liked. What have been a couple of the books that have that you know we can all read to help elevate us to a new level?
First one that started my whole journey was The Go-Giver.
Bob Burg and
John David Mann.
Oh, I've read that so many times.
Yeah, and this is the red cover. So if you're going to go get The Go-Giver, it's the red cover. Okay, they have multiple Go-Giver books.
Like leadership.
Yeah, they
marriage.
have the green one is sell more,
Sell
if you're in
more.
business.
Yeah.
Yes, but this is the red one, and so The Go-Giver, man, was very inspirational for me because again, it kind of went into a further depth of what giving looks like if you just put yourself out there and you give first and kind of just see what comes back.
Because it's not about just giving money.
No.
Or not just like being charitable. That's good to be charitable.
Yeah.
But you had mentioned giving time.
Yeah. Time, energy, right? Like knowledge, like share it. You know what I mean? So just that was a very good book for me. Another one that I recently just read a couple months ago in our book club that we have is called Get Out of Your Own Way. I'm not sure of the author on that one, but another great book. He comes from more of a, I would say, like a psychology kind of perspective. And it touches on a lot of like self-defeating behaviors. And so through those chapters, I was learning things like, damn, I do that? Right? Like you think you get to a point where you're self-aware enough. You're never, this is a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
Lifelong journey. And so it was another eye-opening book for me because it allowed me to see deeper beyond my own perspective, and it allowed me to see that, man, I do have traits of some self-defeating behavior when it comes to relationships and what I allow from other people and what I allow them to do to me, right? Because I come from a place of wanting to give and wanting to be nice and caring, and so 2 great books. There's thousands of books that are out there, man, that you can read, but those 2 right there really touch me the most.
Yeah, no, I love that. So last question here. The way we like to finish this is our positivity prize fighter moment, which I kind of explained a little bit. But for people watching for the first time, you don't lose a prize fight by getting knocked down. You lose a prize fight by staying knocked down, right? So life's going to come and it's going to kick you in the face, like you said earlier. Yep. And positivity to me isn't all sunshine and rainbows and smiling no matter what. Sometimes it's a grimace, you know. And so positivity to me is getting up when everything else tells you that you shouldn't, because you still believe that the fight's worth fighting. Yeah. So what has been, I mean, we've talked about a lot, but what has been something that stands out in your mind as one of those moments when life kicked you in the face and told you to stay down, but you didn't?
There's a couple major ones that in my life. But the one that really started my personal development journey and kind of developing myself. So I've been in mortgages at the time, mortgage lending for, I don't know, probably 4 years. Yeah. And I got mutually laid off, right? And so it was kind of a mutual like departing.
So it was a mutual dumping.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he's like, we're not gonna fire you, you know, because you're really good, but like, you probably want to do other things, whatever. Anyway, and so I was like, fine. So
wink, wink.
Right,
nudge,
exactly.
Nudge.
So I was like, okay, thanks for the slow letdown. I remember going home, sitting on my stairs. No one was home. Kids were at school. Wife was at work at the time, and bawling. I am bawling, and I'm like, why? Like, why am I living like this? Why am I living paycheck to paycheck? I can even just think about it. Why am I living paycheck to paycheck? Why is my relationships with my spouse superficial? Why is my relationship with my kids so surface level? Like, I was just living. I wasn't. It was frustrating, and so, and in my mind, I'm like, I'm worth so much more. Like, I knew it. I didn't have any like accomplishments in my mind that gave me that confidence that, man, you're gonna do it, right? But I just had this innate feeling that I knew I was meant for more. I knew it, but I didn't know what it was. And so I'm sitting on my stairs and I'm like, dude, we have got to change. Like, something has got to change because I cannot live like this. And I say this on my podcast too, where it's like, when I'm telling that story to other people, if you look from a perspective outside of mine, Mike had everything. He had the house, he had the car, he had the kids, he had the wife, he had the money in his, he had all the stuff, right? But it wasn't enough. It wasn't what I wanted. I wanted more. And so when that happened, that's when everything turned around for me. And it was like, okay, what do I need to do? Because I couldn't start blaming external circumstances. They were out of my control. But what I knew was in my control was, if I'm seeing other people out there in the world doing these amazing things and they're having these vacations and they're smiling all the time and having peace, there's no reason on this God's green earth that I cannot have the same thing. So then from there, it was just finding out, okay, yeah, I am now have no job, and and my relationships aren't the greatest. What do I go from here? And there was only one way to go, and it was up. I can't quit. First of all, I'm not a quitter. Second of all, I have people that depend on me. My wife depended on me at the time, right? My kids depend on me. My mom and my dad depend on me. There was no way in hell I was going to give up. So the only option I had was to figure it out. And I'm still figuring it out. But I'm a lot farther than where I was 7-8 years ago.
No, 100%. Yeah. That's beautiful. No, dude, sometimes life just sucks, and it's hard, but if we want to get out of that, then we have to ask, what's next? When you go through something hard, when you go through a trial, you get fired, you get dumped, you get divorced, whatever, someone dies. Instead of asking why, ask what now. That is the way that you can get through it. That's the way that you can grow. Yeah. Because it initiates that action.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm a firm believer that there is no good or bad. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
right? It's in our mind that we make it, oh, this is, we're going to call this good. We're going to label this bad.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden your perception goes from there. But yeah, man, life is, it's a tricky road. But I think if you get in the right state of mind, right, you'll find that the hard stuff is the fun stuff. Because if you can get to that point, right, it takes a lot to get to that point, right? Because there's so much to extract out of, why did I go through this? Why did I have this hard breakup? Why did I get divorced? Why did I lose my job?
Yeah.
Right. And there's gold in that, in those experiences that you can extract from that. And it's like, it makes you a better person, it makes you have a better life. And it just, yeah, it's just so much. But yeah, it can really kick you down, but it's all about you making a decision on whether or not you want to get back up or not.
Oh, I love that. No, and just to wrap up, I mean, because like I said, we're getting to the end of our time here. Absolutely have loved having you on.
I had a lot of fun.
And yeah, we had a good time. Hopefully you guys had a good time. And just so much amazing, great information, great insights that you have. Where can everybody find you? And we'll make sure that we put all these links and everything in the description for you guys and everything you want to get in touch with Michael and see his stuff.
Yeah.
Where can we do that?
You can find me on Instagram. It's at Michael_A_Benton on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube as well, same handle. And yeah, you can see me I don't know, if you're in Arizona somewhere, you'll probably see me out networking somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
I'm usually everywhere.
You
so.
get out. Well, what's the podcast that you got?
Yeah, so the podcast is called More Than Average Men,
Love it.
and you can find it on pretty much every single podcast that you can think of: Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes,
all the things.
iHeart. It's everywhere.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, super great to have you. And you guys, we're super grateful to have you guys here again. Absolutely love being with Michael. Remember that you are worthy. The mistakes that you make are just opportunities to learn. Make sure that you don't give up. You just have to do it over and over and over again. Excellence is not about showing off. It's about showing up over and over and over again. I love you guys. Keep being amazing. Remember that it's not just business. It's all personal. We'll see you next time.